So I'd like to first start off by saying thank you. From the bottom of my heart, it means the world to me that you all have already put your faith in me thus far to nominate me for this position. And for that, I will not let any of you down. So I'd also like to begin by introducing myself. My name is Nicole Pinto. I'm a political science and social policy public service double major here at UCI. My pronouns are also she, her, and hers, and in addition to they, them, and theirs. I'm finishing off my third year here on this campus and going into my fourth and final year. But I'm also a Capricorn, an ESTJ, and a Slytherin. But those are things that you can come up to me and ask me at any given time, and I stand by that. Being personable and outgoing are two of my strongest personality traits. They serve me well in many professional ways, not just interpersonal ones. If I were to describe myself in 3 words, it would be ambitious, self-disciplined, and charismatic. My greatest passion is giving back, and some of my strengths include speaking, leading, and organizing. Becoming a policy writer in the future would be the most rewarding way to combine both while solving inequality and injustice on the institutional level. But enough about me. Filipinx Americans in Social Studies is an organization whose goal is to bring together a minority in the professional space to guide college students just like us through their early years of professionalism, led by pillars of conduct and virtue such as community, leadership, academics, social support, and career. PASS is an org that's near and dear to my heart, that took me in when I was the most in need. It's given me lifelong friends and memories, along with the professional and leadership skills that will stick with me into my career and beyond. For that, I'm forever grateful, and I see it most fit for me to be put in a position to give back to this org. For everything it's given me, I feel the duty, passion, and drive to give my all to this org, and most importantly, to everyone watching this. In the short year and couple of months that I've been here, PASS has had a major hand in shaping me into the professional person I am today. I would love no more than to put in the hard work it takes to become the external vice president to show my appreciation and gratitude for all this org has given me, offering my talents to help PASS grow, hopefully leaving behind a legacy that extends beyond my own graduation is extremely important to me. Some of the many responsibilities of the external vice president for this organization include, but are not limited to, managing relations with the campus cross-cultural center, managing relations with the Alianza umbrella org to organize collaborative events with sister orgs Kaba, Puso, and Fusion, working on student outreach, promotion, and public relations both on and off campus, and the annual Winter Quarter Conference for Asian American Pre-Professionalism, also known as CAP. Past external vice presidents who will hopefully become my predecessors, shout out to Jesse, Tim, and Mia, are all commendable individuals with the confidence, leadership, and bright new ideas that have made waves in the progress and growth of this org. I do not just hope, but I know in my heart that I have what it takes to make them proud of the direction I'd like to take this position in. I'm qualified for this position, not only from my past experiences, but also because of the dedication to this org I've worn on my sleeve for the duration of my membership. As far as leadership goes, I have over 7 years of past experience of being a club officer and president, head student leader, and board member at notable organizations including Key Club International, the California Public Interest Research Group, or CalPIRG, and even PASS, where I have served as the Community Involvement Director for the 2019 to 2020 school year. These responsibilities have given me skills and experiences such as event planning, public relations, and team building, all of which are applicable to the position of external vice president. I have had my hand in teaching, training, and guiding other student leaders, organizing large events of 400 to 600 students, including nonprofit and nonprofit organization speakers, performers, and staff, and even having my own intern. The mixture of my personable, charismatic, and outgoing demeanor and professional skill set work in tandem to concoct the perfect recipe for this job. While these traits may be all the bells and whistles it takes to show that I can be a successful external vice president, I can also acknowledge that I'm not at all the perfect human being. I'm qualified and prepared to take on this responsibility, but at the same time, am well aware that there will be unprecedented challenges and difficult situations that are unavoidable. I am 100% prepared to roll with the punches, think outside the box, and be flexible. Every day, I'm learning and growing into a better version of myself, and I hope that you all are willing to learn and grow with me as well. With this position, I'd like to honor its current duties and at the same time broaden the horizons. The potential of our org to grow not only in size, but in relation with others is something that I believe is untapped and cultivatable. The ties with our sister organizations could be even further strengthened through becoming closer with their general members, becoming involved with their yearly events, and always extending a helping hand. I would like to become a familiar face, not only to be seen around, but also to interact with, creating bonds that could spark new collaborative programs. Beyond that, I also see this org becoming involved with resources outside of Alianza, such as the LGBT Resource Center and the Cross Cultural Center Women's Hub, creating safe spaces from minorities with multiple identities in a way that's professional and socially supported. And that's just to name a few ideas. For the future of an organization that's changed my life forever, I promise to give everything I've got and more, which is a lot. Put your faith in me, and I won't let you down, both inside and out of PASS. Once again, thank you all for this opportunity, and it would be an honor and a privilege to serve as your External Vice President for the 2020 to 2021 school year.
Thank you, Nicole. So we're gonna start the Q&A session. So I have a question for you. What are your expectations for board? How will you implement these expectations throughout the year?
Some of the expectations I have for board include staying on top of our individual responsibilities, which also definitely entails transparency. And when it comes to the new situations that are arising and even not having the same amount of positions or people to fill these positions, delegating responsibilities to new people means that we might be taking on a lot more responsibilities than we are previously used to, and that means that we have to kind of pay special attention to the workload that everybody is getting. That means that making sure that everybody is also extending a helping hand to each other, that when we see our counterparts in need of assistance or help, always making sure that they know that they can go to the rest of us whenever they need help. I also am expecting that for this board to uphold professional standards always in and out of the organization, to be present especially in other orgs. I think that's something that we definitely could work on, is being there when it comes to other Alianza orgs just as much as they are for us. And I think that strengthening the relationship between other Alianza orgs is extremely important.
Just to go off of what you just said right now, how would you maintain that relationship with our 3 other orgs? Because that does get a little, it's hard to do that with everybody's different schedules. So how would you try to maintain that for yourself, and how would you try to see that be maintained throughout all of the board?
Yeah, I definitely understand that being present in other orgs is extremely difficult, with both our own members, like general and board, having a lot of their own responsibilities and having schedule differences, not being able to be physically there for every meeting that throughout the week, because there are 3 other organizations, is difficult. But I think making sure that there is at least 1 or 2 people every week to attend the other org meetings is really important, and that if it doesn't fit on everybody's schedule, there hopefully is someone else that can take up the responsibility in addition to myself. I definitely will be going above and beyond and out of my way to attend as many meetings as I can. And I think that as long as they know that we would like to be there and that we would like to support them in every way that we can, that's really what matters. Whether or not we can physically be there, that is completely different from if we are emotionally there, sharing all their posts on Instagram, trying to, promote all of their fundraisers, or even going to their outside of meeting events is really important. And that means just as much to other orgs as it does to us.
So to follow up with that, as EVP, you're tasked with planning a pre-professional conference, externalizing with other clubs, as well as upholding your own board responsibilities and more. How do you plan on balancing all of these tasks as well as other involvements in your life?
I think that one of my additional strong traits, and I've already mentioned organization, is something that's, I think, really prevalent in my life. I also am really good at delegating my own responsibilities and time management. I think time management is really important in having a leadership position, especially when it comes to one that has responsibilities such as this. And being able to understand where my priorities lie is very important. And I think that as just so long as I have a good idea of the responsibilities that I have, the things that I need to do, I like to visually plan all the time, and to also be transparent and verbal with others with the things that I have on my plate. So that means not taking more than what I can handle, especially, and excuse me, not taking on more than I can handle and being well aware of what my abilities are at all times is very important. I think that um, it will be definitely a challenge with being able to balance all these tasks, but I definitely believe that I can do it well.
Just going off of your duties, since you are running for EVP, excuse me, EVP, one of your big events is CAP.
Mhm.
So we're just curious to know if you have any vision or theme for CAP next year.
I think that something that I really would like to highlight, just like I actually mentioned in my platform, is the intersection of multiple identities. That PASS is representative of a minority within a minority. So, being a minority as being a Filipinx American and also being in the social studies realm. I would also really like to highlight other minorities, such as how I mentioned, wanting to collab with the LGBT Resource Center and the Women's Hub, that those are some very large populations in the minority of being Filipinx American, and being able to also represent other like people that would like to be represented is really important to me, and I think that that is something that I definitely would like to highlight in this year's CAP. um, Pre-professionalism, but also seeing being represented in a way that a lot of intersecting identities are not.
Um, so what are some takeaways from being community involvement director will you use as EVP?
Um, for the past year, being community involvement director is something that I've really loved this job. It's something that I've been entirely passionate about. I think from the second that I was able to start being community involvement, and I think there are a lot of duties that not only carry over but also have like taught me a lot about my skills. Being community involvement director has first of all been being an Alianza affiliate board member, which means that I have been attending Alianza umbrella org meetings bi-monthly for the past 2 quarters, and learning all the ins and outs of Alianza, what they do, especially like when it comes to the organization, like all of organizations, even check-ins and the planning of things like PGRAD. Those are things that I definitely will take with me into it becoming external vice president. I also learned a lot about public relations in dealing with like other people, speakers, and orgs when it came to planning my compassion projects, talking to actual nonprofit organizations, and also talking to the speaker that I did have come in. I think that those are things that I definitely, or skills that I will be able to apply to being external vice president for sure.